Darkrai, frequently identified as the pitch-black Pokémon and the nightmare Pokémon, occupies a distinctive and mysterious position within the Pokémon universe. Its most defining characteristic is its unique ability to induce terrifying nightmares in both humans and other Pokémon, a power manifested through its signature ability, Bad Dreams, and its signature move, Dark Void. Visually, Darkrai is depicted as a shadowy, wispy figure with piercing eyes, embodying the very essence of darkness and fear itself. Its activity is notably tied to the nights of the new moon, a period of darkness, further cementing its association with the night and the unknown. These fundamental attributes establish Darkrai's known identity and set the stage for a darker story into its potential origins. Despite its classification as a mythical Pokémon and its seemingly elemental connection to darkness and dreams, this video is going to delve into a compelling theory that Darkrai may have once been a human. This transformation could have occurred through extraordinary circumstances, such as scientific experimentation, the imposition of powerful curses, or the overwhelming manifestation of intense human emotions and experiences, particularly those related to nightmares and psychological torment. Darkrai's Pokédex entries across various generations consistently emphasize its role as a dream inducer. It can lure people to sleep and make them dream. Its primary method of interaction, particularly for defense, involves causing deep, nightmarish slumbers to chase people and Pokémon from its territory. The Bad Dreams ability specifically drains health from sleeping opponents, showcasing its direct combat utilities and tied to its dream manipulation. Its signature move, Dark Void, is notorious for its ability to put multiple targets to sleep, power so significant it received nerfs in later games, underscoring its immense control over sleep states. While Darkrai's actions can appear terrifying, some Pokédex entries explicitly state it means no harm. This could suggest that its nightmare-inducing is primarily a defensive or protective mechanism, rather than an act of pure malice. Its liking for solitude and emotional repression are also noted, contributing to its mysterious and often feared reputation. These descriptions present a compelling contradiction, that a being that means no harm, yet afflicts those around it with nightmares as a protective measure. This inherent conflict between its neutral intent and the terrifying, often harmful manifestations of its power is highly unusual for a Pokémon of its type. This paradox strongly suggests a fundamental shift in Darkrai's being. If Darkrai was originally a human, suddenly transformed, and imbued with immense, perhaps uncontrollable power over dreams, they would inevitably struggle to restore their inherent moral compass with the terrifying consequences of their new abilities. This inability to fully control its power, leading to accidental harm and subsequent fear from others, could be the root cause of its emotional repression and its penchant for solitude. This points to a deep internal struggle, a psychological burden more characteristic of a human grappling with a curse or an unwanted mutation than a naturally occurring Pokémon. The very act of causing nightmares, even defensively, could be a source of profound anguish for a being with a human past, leading to its isolation. Physically, Darkrai is listed with a height of 4 feet 11 inches and a weight of 111.3 pounds. Notably, its gender is consistently listed as unknown. These fundamental details form the base of Darkrai's established identity, providing both the challenges and the potential hooks for a human origin theory. In the movies, we can see that Darkrai is often standing on 2 legs. In the movie The Rise of the Darkrai is where the most human-like attributes are shown. Darkrai, even though is genderless, Darkrai is referred to as a male, just like its counterpart, who is a female Cresselia. Furthermore, in the movie, we can see that Darkrai is also speaking using human language. Regarding its established origins, one prominent fan theory states that Darkrai's genesis stems from Giratina. After its banishment, Giratina's hatred and rage coalesced into a seething dark mass, a formless entity that fed on hatred and fear. This shadow, growing in power from the malice of humans, eventually named itself Darkrai. This narrative suggests a direct, though non-physical, lineage from a powerful deity. Another version of its lore suggests Darkrai was created from a lunar energy accident, adding a tragic and disturbing element to its existence. The Pokémon universe, however, contains numerous examples of humans transforming into Pokémon. To reconcile these, a reinterpretation of creation as a transformation catalyst is a possibility. What if these events were not the excreation of Darkrai, but rather powerful external forces that served as catalysts for a human's transformation into Darkrai? For example, a human caught in a lunar energy accident might not have been replaced by Darkrai, but rather transformed by the energy itself, their body and mind warped into the pitch-black Pokémon. Similarly, a human exposed to or consumed by the seething dark mass of Giratina's hatred could have undergone a horrific transformation transformation, their essence fusing with the malevolent energy. This also aligns with the broader theme of human emotions manifesting as Pokémon, where the human element is central to the Pokémon's formation, which I covered in this video. Darkrai made its debut in Pokémon Diamond and Pearl, and is typically acquired through special in-game events or mystery gift distributions, reinforcing its mythical status. Its most significant portrayal outside the games is in Pokémon, The Rise of Darkrai. In this film, initially feared and blamed for disturbances in Alamos Town, Darkrai is ultimately revealed to be a benevolent force, actively protecting the town from the destructive clash of Dialga and Palkia. It even sacrifices itself to shield the town from their attacks. This heroic portrayal contrasts sharply with its Pokédex description as a territorial nightmare Pokémon. This portrayal as a protector, despite its fearsome abilities, and the Pokédex entries stating it means no harm, create a stark contrast with its nightmare-inducing nature. The dynamic with Cresselia, where Cresselia actively mitigates the accidental harm Darkrai causes, further emphasizes this internal conflict. This suggests a being that desires to do good and protect, but struggles profoundly with the inherent negative impact of its powers. This narrative arc, a powerful being misunderstood and feared due to its abilities, yet secretly acting as a protector or striving for good, is a deeply resonant human trope. If Darkrai were a human, this behavior could be a continuation of their original personality, a desperate attempt to atone for the unintended suffering caused by their transformation, or a manifestation of a deeply ingrained protective instinct. And disturbing element to its existence could directly stem from this internal struggle. The isolation it experiences due to its powers, which would be that it causes nightmares to everyone around him, a constant burden of accidentally harming others. This aligns with the concept of a cursed existence, where the curse is not just the power, but the inability to control its negative side effects. Darkrai shares a unique, often antagonistic relationship with Cresselia, known as the Lunar Duo. Darkrai's New Moon Island is placed closer to Cresselia's Full Moon Island. While Darkrai causes nightmares, Cresselia's feathers provide pleasant dreams and can cure Darkrai's effects. I speculate them as an old married couple, with Cresselia resentfully cleaning up after Darkrai's accidental nightmare causing, highlighting a complex, like an angry wife, almost a human-like dynamic. This is heavily backed up from the Pokemon Journeys episode where Darkrai shows up and saves Cresselia. Darkrai and Cresselia are based on He mythology of Altair and Vega. The Tanabata legend tells of Orihime, Star Vega, and Hikoboshi, Star Altair, a weaver princess and a cowherd bound by love yet forever separated by the Milky Way. They may meet only once a year under clear skies, a star-crossed reunion of ocean across the heavens. This fits really well within the Generation 4 games, themes being time-space and antimatter. Each pair is thus defined by celestial opposition and duality, light versus dark, fear versus hope, yet forged by a shared bond and longing. Together these tales weave the same themes of love and separation across the sky. Orihime and Hikoboshi's deep love is tested by the starry river between them, just as Darkrai and Cresselia's balance is set by opposing lunar phases. In both myths, only rare celestial alignments can bridge the gulf, clear heavens for the star-crossed lovers, or the moon's cycle aligning dreams and shadows. These celestial duets tell a poetic story of separation and reunion, of darkness and light, love and hope enduring even across the vast sky. How Darkrai could have transformed from a human to Pokemon. The Pokemon world offers several incidents for the transformation of humans into Pokemon, providing a foundation for the theory of Darkrai's human origin. These mechanisms fall broadly into categories of experimentation, mystical curses or wishes, and the manifestation of intense emotions. It could have transformed via a higher being like Giratina or Arceus. Gengar, from the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series, was explicitly revealed to be a human cursed by a Ninetales to be reborn as a Pokemon. This directly supports transformation through mystical means. Multiple Pokédex entries across generations suggest that Kadabra was once a boy with psychic powers who transformed due to an inability to control his abilities. This highlights transformation linked to inherent human abilities and their uncontrolled manifestation. Frostlass, according to legends from snowy regions, is the spirit of a woman who died lost on an icy mountain, her regrets lingering and possessing an icicle to become the Pokemon. This showcases transformation driven by death, lingering grudges, and intense negative emotions. There's a lot of Pokemon that have connections to being human in their past life or such. The lore explicitly states that Pokemon can be born from concentrated human emotions, such as grudges, hate, fear, and envy. Furthermore, the fan theory regarding Darkrai's origin from Giratina's essence describes a seething dark mass that grew and festered when fed with hatred from humans. This shadow then harvested their fear and weakness to grow ever stronger before naming itself Darkrai. This suggests that Darkrai might not be just a manifestation of a Giratina's hatred, but rather the culmination of a human's essence that was overwhelmed and transformed by the very hatred and fear it was feeding upon. The shadow could have been a human soul or consciousness, twisted and empowered by the negative emotions emotions it absorbed from the settlers of Kanalav. This would explain Darkrai's profound and intrinsic connection to human nightmares, which could be a remnant of the human's own bitterness or the malice it absorbed. This origin provides a deeply tragic backstory, aligning with the origins of many ghost-type Pokemon that are born from human suffering or unresolved emotions. The transformation would be a consequence of absorbing and embodying the very negativity it now wields. All this could have been a curse from Giratina, who we have already established as the actually devil of the Pokemon universe, explained in this video. He could have cursed a loving, happily married couple in their dreams, which turned them into mythical and legendary Pokemons. So notice how Darkrai is considered a mythical Pokemon, but its counterpart Cresselia is considered a legendary Pokemon. This would hint that Darkrai was a human who was cursed by Giratina, and Cresselia was blessed by Arceus to counterbalance Darkrai's curse. As when we see Cresselia, it's always glowing with an angelic glow to it. Darkrai is synonymous with nightmares. It not only induces them, but can travel through dreams to find its target. Its signature move, Dark Void, puts targets to sleep, and Nightmare deals damage to sleeping opponents. The sheer power of Dark Void, necessitating nerfs, highlights Darkrai's unparalleled mastery over sleep and dreams. A crucial piece of evidence comes from the Pokémon Mystery Dungeon series, specifically Explorers of Time and Darkness and Explorers of Sky, where the hero is explicitly transformed into a Pokémon after being attacked by Darkrai while traveling through time. This provides a direct canonical link between Darkrai's abilities and the process of human to Pokemon transformation. The Mystery Dungeon series provides direct evidence that Darkrai's abilities can cause a human to Pokemon transformation. This is not a theoretical possibility, but an established event within a significant branch of Pokemon lore. If Darkrai possesses the power to inflict such a profound, existential change on others, it is highly plausible that it itself was either a victim of or created through an extreme manifestation of this very power. Consider a human, perhaps one with innate psychic sensitivities, like the boy who became Kadabra, who was overwhelmed by a traumatic dream experience, a curse that bound them to the realm of nightmares, or an uncontrolled surge of psychic energy where their consciousness trapped, warped, or even solidified within this dreamscape, could have physically manifested as Darkrai, a being intrinsically linked to that realm. This would explain Darkrai's unparalleled mastery over dreams and nightmares. Building upon this for human to Pokemon transformation, three primary hypotheses emerge regarding Darkrai's potential human origin. Each hypothesis draws upon specific aspects of Darkrai's lore, behavior, and physical characteristics. Hypothesis 1. The Nightmare-Forged Human. This hypothesis posits that Darkrai was once a human, perhaps an individual with exceptional psychic sensitivity, or someone who endured profound psychological torment, who became irrevocably trapped within an inescapable, pervasive nightmare. This prolonged and agonizing experience, possibly amplified by external dark energies or a powerful curse, fundamentally warped their essence, transforming them into the living embodiment of nightmares. Darkrai's intrinsic mastery over nightmares provides a key clue. Its unparalleled ability to induce deep, nightmarish slumbers, and its capacity to travel through dreams to find its target, suggest a connection to the dream world so intrinsic that it implies an origin from within that realm. The sheer power of Dark Void, which was subsequently nerfed in games, further emphasized this deep-seated mastery. If a human's consciousness was forged in the crucible of a perpetual nightmare, this mastery would be a natural, albeit terrifying outcome. Darkrai's defensive yet misunderstood behavior further supports this. The Pokédex states, Darkrai means no harm, and acts defensively to protect its territory. This profound paradox, a creature of terror with benevolent intent, could be the lingering moral compass of the human, now tragically unable to control the terrifying side effects of their transformed state. Its noted solitude and emotional repression would be a direct consequence of this internal conflict, and the fear that it inadvertently causes in others, leading to self-imposed isolation. Hypothesis 2. The Cursed Protector. This hypothesis proposes that a human, perhaps a dedicated guardian, or someone who made a desperate wish to protect others from encroaching darkness or nightmares, was subjected to a powerful curse or a mystical transformation. This act, or the curse itself, irrevocably transformed them into Darkrai, granting them immense power over dreams, but at the profound cost of their humanity and a perpetual state of misunderstanding and fear from those they sought to protect. Darkrai's most compelling portrayals in Pokémon, The Rise of Darkrai, where it acts as a clear protagonist, selflessly protecting Alamos town from the destructive clash of Dialga and Palkia. This overt protective nature, even to the point of self-sacrifice, is a significant departure from its Pokédex descriptions as merely territorial. This strong protective instinct could be a profound remnant of its human self, a core personality trait that persisted transformation. Its willingness to confront and even sacrifice itself against cosmic deities like Dialga and Palkia suggests a deep-seated sense of duty, a profound moral compass, or an unwavering desire to prevent widespread destruction, all highly human characteristics. The very power intended to protect by driving away threats or embodying a defensive force inherently causes suffering to innocents through accidental nightmares. This is a classic heroic, tragic hero narrative. This tragic irony would logically explain Darkrai's consistent solitude and its misunderstood nature. The evidence and connecting the dots. A comprehensive analysis of Darkrai's characteristics and lore, viewed through the lens of human-to-Pokemon transformation, reveals several compelling connections. Darkrai's physical characteristics offer notable correlations. The specific measurements of 4 feet and 11 inches and 111.3 pounds are strikingly human-like. Despite its shadowy, wispy form, Darkrai consistently maintains a bipedal humanoid silhouette, distinguishing it from many other elemental or beast-like Pokemon, and even speaking in the Pokemon movie The Rise of Darkrai. The consistent human-like dimensions, height, weight, bipedal form, speech, and the mythological romance are significant outliers for a mythical Pokemon. This specificity in design suggests a deliberate choice by the creators that could hint at a human template or origin. If Darkrai was indeed a human, these physical traits would represent its former self, distorted perhaps by the transformation. This further supports the idea of a profound, perhaps painful transformation, rather than a purely natural or elemental creation, suggesting that the human form was the foundational blueprint for the Darkrai we know. The most direct counter-argument is the fan theory, widely accepted as lore, that Darkrai was born from Giratina's hatred and rage coalescing into a seething dark mass, and this suggests an elemental, non-human origin. However, as previously discussed, this creation can be reinterpreted not as nothingness, but as a catalyst for a human's transformation. The human could have been exposed to, or even consumed by, this coalesced hatred, leading to their metamorphosis into Darkrai. This reinterpretation would explain the spiteful heart attributed to Darkrai, which could be a fusion of the human's own despair and the absorbed malice. Similarly, the lunar energy accident origin also presents a challenge, but can be viewed as a transformative event acting upon a human rather than purely creating a new entity. The theory of Darkrai's human origin, while speculative, coherently recontextualizes existing lore within the Pokemon universe. Several compelling arguments support this interpretation. The Pokemon world provides numerous established precedents for human-to-Pokemon transformation, occurring through diverse mechanisms such as curses, the overwhelming manifestations of intense emotions, grudges, fear, and hatred. The rise of Darkrai suggests a hidden intent or a lingering moral compass that transcends its fearsome abilities, hinting at a past rooted in human empathy or duty.